Moving forward.
Hi, we're the audience.
2 weeks ago, my sister and I got into an argument. Neither of us wanted to vacuum the TV room, so naturally, we started yelling at each other to make sure the other person heard us good. As a result, my parents got involved and grounded us both, thus moving the situation forward and displeasing both parties. And somehow in the end, I still had to vacuum. But what if instead we had taken turns to understand each other and understand what was happening? Maybe then we could have resolved our disagreement. Conflict is the result of two contradictory interests between different parties. In his journal about business, Dr. Digvijayan Thakor explains that it is unavoidable. That is, as long as you plan with interacting with other people. Nevertheless, it is something that can be controlled. Thus, there are two different ways to handle it. The first is managing conflict correctly, which has a higher probability of leading to better results or more beneficial results. Recently, I've not been great at doing this, but hopefully with future disagreements, I'll be able to. The next way is handling conflict poorly. A great example in my life of this type of conflict is with the story between me and my sister fighting over the TV, or fighting over vacuuming. Sadly, I have chosen this use of conflict many times, and likely, I'm sure both of you have too. Luckily, it is our choice on how we handle conflict. To do this, we must understand the different types of it. Within conflict, there are four main categories that cover all the areas in which conflict can happen. The first of these is interpersonal conflict. In the journal Conflict Management, A New Challenge, Owachisu Madalena describes interpersonal conflict as, quote, a conflict between two individuals. This occurs typically due to how people are different from one another, end quote. The second type of conflict is intrapersonal conflict, and Ms. Madalena explains it as, quote, occurs within an individual. The experience takes place in the person's mind. Hence, it is a type of conflict that is psychological, involving the person's individual thoughts, values, principles, and emotions, end quote. Thirdly is intragroup conflict. This type of conflict, again, explained by Ms. Madalena, quote, is a type of conflict that happens among individuals in a team, end quote. Lastly, in her journal, Ms. Madalena gives the definition of intergroup conflict. Quote, takes place when a misunderstanding arises among different teams within an organization, end quote. Conflict creates change. This change is going to happen no matter how you handle conflict. Whether you handle it well or poorly, it's going to happen. So, in the case of that argument, I could see the change. We got grounded. Obviously conflict is very important, but why? Conflict is important because it